Random thoughts. In this video, I'm going to read parts of or a part of C.W. Hobley's book, Bantu Beliefs and Magic. And in this part, he talks about other religious or spiritual practices of the AGIKUYU people. And specifically, he points out to us some of other items or things that the AGIKUYU treated to be sacred. Of course, we know of the Mugumo tree, we know of the Mukuyu tree, but there are other things or objects that the AGIKUYU will treat as being sacred besides those two trees. And I'm going to read that part. There's a part where he says, and he subheads it as miscellaneous spirit worship. And he says, there are some traces of the belief in river spirits. So the river spirits and spirits in the water is not such a common belief, especially among the inland Kenyans, Agikuyu, Akamba, and other communities that live inland. It's not so much in the people, but seems like there are traces of that. Of course, when you go maybe to West Africa, there is a lot of belief in the spirits that are found in the ocean or in the sea and the rivers. And I think even in the East African coast, the people who live near the sea generally will tend to have some beliefs about some spirits that live in the ocean or in the rivers to some extent. But when you come inland, it's not so much, but there is trace of it. And he continues to say, for instance, at places where there are waterfalls like on the Chania and Thika, the elders in passing will spit into the river or throw a little grass into it. So the Agikuyu elders, when they go through or they cross the river Chania, and also when they came to waterfalls, they seem to have had something, or they seem to have had some beliefs about the waterfalls, and they will spit to it, or they will throw a grass or a piece of grass to it or into it. He continues to say, there is a sacred rock near the Mbigwa, close to a stream called Kichi, a tributary of the Ruaraka, where the native pluck tufts of grass as they pass by and throw them on the rock. So there is also, seems like there are also incidences where the people could treat rocks in a certain way or could treat rocks as being sacred. Of course, among the Luo, there is the Kitmikai, which are rocks and they are treated to be sacred. I didn't know that there was such beliefs among the Kikuyu, but seems like there were. I'm looking forward to comments from you about this, if you know anything about this, specifically this rock at the Mbigwa, where people will go and they will throw grass at the rock. He continued to say, if a tree has blown down and fallen across the path, grass is again placed on the fallen trunk. So seems like using grass, there's something about using grass to throw at something that is sacred. And I don't know what that meant. Maybe some people have an idea what that actually meant or what was the symbolism of it. Sometimes too, stones are laid on the fallen tree. So besides throwing grass on the fallen tree, there was also the practice of putting stones next to the fallen tree. When people come upon the skull of a dead elephant in the bush, they also place grass on it. So there was also the practice of when you walk in the bush and you came across the bones of elephant or of an elephant, then you will place some grass on those bones. Again, the grass. The origin of all these customs appear to be lost. So he puts there a note that these practices were there, but you could not find explanations about them, where they came from or what they meant. Maybe the elders knew, there is a likelihood that the elders knew, but they could not share that information with him. Remember, the Akikuyu is one of those nations where you only get knowledge based on your initiation rank. The higher up the rank you go in being initiated, the more knowledge is exposed to you or given to you. So even though he claims, or Hobley claims, that he was initiated into the Akikuyu nation, I don't think he reached a level where he could get every piece of information or knowledge. So there is a likelihood that the elders knew what this meant, but they could not tell him what that was actually. So yeah, so that is a part where Hobley tells us about these other things that were treated to be sacred, and also this practice of throwing grass on some of these objects that were considered to be sacred. Those are my random thoughts.